A few months ago, I talked about how the demand for the Cybertruck is off the charts. It's insane. It's not just the most heavily demanded Tesla of all time, it's the most heavily demanded electric vehicle of all time. And with now the age of the internet and seeing how viral things go, I think an argument could be made, not with 100% certainty, but an argument could be made that it's the most demanded vehicle of all time, considering that Tesla does not even need to advertise this dang truck. People are willing to pay to go and see it. If you do not believe me, I encourage you to check out some of the footage people have been taking at the Petersen Automotive Museum, which Tesla has generously and also by no means had to do this. They literally just wanted to do this because so many people had questions and wanted to see the Cybertruck in person. They let the Petersen Automotive Museum have it for a few weeks. It'll be there until July 5th, and tickets for this museum, which cost like $15 a piece, have been selling out. So many people want to go and see this thing and get their footage of it and get their perspective on it so that they can see it in the flesh and in person. And man, after seeing how quick those tickets have sold out and seeing how many people and crowds have been drawn to that Cybertruck, it says a lot about the demand for this electric vehicle. Now, the Cybertruck Owners Club has tried to do their best at tracking how many reservations there really have been, and yes, full disclosure, I haven't seen anyone on the internet arguing that every single reservation is a guaranteed sale, okay? There's a lot of these reservations that are not going to go through. For one, because a lot of people think, oh, it's in the future, I'll be able to afford a truck by then, and then maybe when delivery day comes, they're like, oh crap, maybe I'm not ready. And for two, there's also a bunch of people that, because it's only $100, figured, hey, I don't know exactly which Cybertruck I'm gonna get, so I'm gonna reserve multiple versions so that I have options in the future, and then depending on their financial situation, they may go with dual motor, tri-motor, single motor. There's all kinds of variations out there that people have been happy to reserve, more than one, especially Dan from What's Inside, who reserved like 50, but I think it's a safe assumption overall to just across the board assume that 50% of these reservations are not going to turn into sales, maybe even more, but still, even if it is 50% of orders that don't end up happening, that is still an insane amount of demand given that Cybertruck Owners Club has, as of the latest data, which was at the end of May, calculated there have been over 700,000 reservations, and that's now, okay, halfway through 2020. There's still more reservations to be made leading into 2021, when apparently the first deliveries are supposed to begin at the very end of next year. Even then, I think Tesla is looking at the first delivery day still having around 350,000 to 400,000 people that have put down a reservation and are legitimately serious about accepting delivery of this vehicle. To give you guys perspective, Tesla did not build 400,000 vehicles in all of 2019. So if you would have replaced every Model S, every Model X, and every Model 3 they delivered to customers last year, replaced every single one of those cars with a Cybertruck, that would not be enough to meet the demand of the current people willing to pre-order one, okay? As I've mentioned before, there's also a huge wave of demand you can't account for that doesn't represent itself during the pre-order period, because there's a lot of people that may see this thing and may think it looks cool or may be practical or whatnot, but they're not going to put $100 down on one because they still see it as the prototype phase. And there's a huge population in the truck market that needs to see results, needs to see user and driver experience of the thing before they put any money down on it. Yes, even if it's $100, even if they're mildly interested, they want to see how this release goes. They want to see a few other people drive them around first. They want to see what Tesla's quality control is going to be like, which may be questionable. And once these things start hitting city streets and people actually start enjoying the benefits and start talking about how great they are, how durable they are, and how much they love driving them, then you'll have another big wave of demand that will come in. And my point is, and one that Elon has confirmed in previous earnings reports, they have more demand for the Cybertruck that they can meet in the next 3 to 4 years, because as we know, they're still scouting a location for the Cybertruck factory. By the way, it's in Texas, we pretty much know already, but first they gotta get that factory location finalized. After that, they have to actually build the factory. Once the factory is built, they're gonna have hundreds of thousands of orders to fill, and it's gonna take them years before they're actually able to keep up with demand. And the showcase at the Petersen Museum is just a pure example of how much demand there is for this truck. My good friend Randy, who runs the Tesla Experience channel, feel free to check him out, he was actually a couple hours away from the museum and decided to make the trip with his wife, and yes, they paid to go in, get some footage of it, and he'll be talking about his experience shortly. And we also got to talk a lot about it over on the Tailosive EV podcast, which is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you want to listen to it on. And that latest episode should be dropping tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But I think the reason this is so surreal for so many people is the fact that it's at this, automotive museum where so many supercars and famous vehicles throughout history are there that people get to look at and think about different design schemes over the century. And this is a pickup truck that people are admiring and lining up to see as if it's some new supercar. You know, it's getting the same treatment that a Lamborghini would get or a Bugatti would get, that people would line up to a car show to look at this new supercar that some people may say, you know, well, one day if I ever won the lottery or something, I'd buy that car. Or, you know, one day if I do really well in the stock market and I become a millionaire, this would be my dream car. You know, if I had all the money in the world, this is what I would buy. And yet people are lining up to the Cybertruck thinking, this is my dream car, I can't wait to buy this. And it's like a $50,000 pickup. This is a truck that's extremely obtainable, and so many people are willing to reserve one, and very serious about it, by the way. In any Twitter poll I've seen, in so many videos of people talking about what Tesla would you get if you could only get one, or if you only had one choice, or what's your favorite model, I've seen so many people put Cybertruck at the top, and yet this is not, you know, Tesla Roadster type pricing. This is not insanely high like dream car scenario. One day I wish I could afford one. Well, I guess a lot of us are still in that. I wish I could afford a $50,000 truck, but I'm still saying very reasonably priced if you consider the alternatives. Other EV pickups out there are not much cheaper. If you consider the cost savings, the idea of spending, you know, in the future when the single motor option is there, $40,000 on a pickup truck is now a lot of people's dream car. And I think that says a lot about the demand for the Cybertruck with the insane reservations and the crowds it's willing to bring to these events when people are able to actually look at it and get up and close and personal. It's just a small teaser of what's going to happen once Tesla actually starts producing these things and we can see them on city streets. And man, it is going to be a weird sensation seeing these things drive around, and I truly believe that you're going to see a whole nother wave of demand of people that aren't interested in pre-ordering one. Mind you, there's a lot of people like me that think it's cool and think it's neat, but I don't have a reservation. I still, to this day, have not reserved a single Cybertruck, and yet I could still totally see myself owning one day when it makes more financial sense and I'm in a better position in life. And I think there's tons of people out there just like me that think it's great, think it's cool, want one, but don't need to put $100 down on one. And I think the genius of making it a $100 reservation is Tesla knew when they first showcased this design, it was going to be met with criticism. People were going to meme it to death and all say this is stupid, what the heck is Tesla doing? You know, I do find it interesting that, you know, the day after this Cybertruck was unveiled, stocks went down pretty fast. They did not shoot up right away, and a lot of people thought Tesla botched the event with the glass demo and everything, which, yeah, I mean, arguably they kind of did botch it, but in the long run, of course, the stock went up quite a bit, and the $100 reservation being fully refundable and everything, the genius of that was Tesla was able to prove to people that, hey, just because this design is different and just because it doesn't look like any other pickup truck out there does not mean people don't want it. And because Elon was able to follow it up, you know, just a week after the event took place with, hey, we got over 250,000 reservations, and here we are months later, and it's, you know, coming up on 700,000 reservations, it proves that you can make a design this drastically different and you can go against the industry standards so much and people will actually like it. People actually will move into it if they understand why the design is the way it is. And that's what Tesla nailed about the truck design, is the fundamentals. They threw out tradition but nailed what truly matters with a pickup truck when it comes to practicality, and it applies to so many different demographics. EV enthusiasts, yes. Tesla fans, yes. But also pickup truck owners across the internet I've seen that have never owned a Tesla are now fascinated with the Cybertruck because of how well it's going to be able to work for them. Music artists are interested in this stuff. CEOs are interested in this stuff, like Kevin Leary. YouTubers are interested in this stuff. And the infinite demographics this can apply to, I think, means that Tesla struck a gold mine with the Cybertruck. And I absolutely now do not expect Tesla to make a more boring, traditional pickup truck that looks more normal, because there's some people that may not like the Cybertruck design. They have way too much demand on their plate as it is. If there is another pickup truck coming from Tesla, it's more than likely just going to be a smaller version of this same truck because of how much positive feedback and how much insane demand they got out of this thing. So, you know, on the tech spec side of the website, it says that all of the numbers Tesla is presenting is for the US model only. If they start doing Cybertrucks for other countries, which they are taking orders in other countries, they will probably have different specifications. It might be built to be smaller dependent on the country's needs and global demand. So don't expect this exact same size to be available available worldwide, but I think this is what all Tesla pickups are going to be looking like moving forward. So I feel very, very bad for you if you wanted a more traditional looking Tesla pickup and you wanted a more boring design, because I think they've got enough on their plate and this is what their main focus is going to be moving forward. Let me know what you guys think of Cybertruck demand by hitting me up over on Twitter. Join my Discord. We can chat more about it there, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Telosive EV podcast. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.